All right, Stan. Really looking forward to having a conversation with you, Stan. I just made you the presenter, and you'll see a drop-down menu to share your screen and turn your mic on. And really welcome to F.A.C.E, Stan.
Okay, thanks, Dale. Just give me a minute because I have 4 screens to pick the right one.
Yeah. This is ground control to Major Tom, David Bowie. So Stan's in a spaceship and deciding what he's going to show us. And
exactly.
Stan, I've been seeing you on Twitter. I don't know how many years. I think you even used to. Oh, you do. You follow me again. On and off, you follow me, right?
Well, to be honest, Dale, I had to clean my stream, and I may have accidentally deleted you as my follower. So sorry for this.
Oh God, you don't know what I paid in psychiatric bills to deal with that issue. Anyways, then, I have to ask you before we get going. Where is the Surf Republic? On your Twitter handle there, that's where you say you live. Where is the Surf Republic? And is that you on a sailboard?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Cool, Surf Republic. Yeah. Well, let's say that Surf Republic exists everywhere. Everywhere where good people are, where you have a sea and wind.
Beautiful. All right. Well, you know what? That's a nation I want to be a citizen of. And
I am already for a long time.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. So I like to start off with people are interested. I'm interested in what happened to bring you into the industry. What was a catalyst? What was it like for you? Tell us a little bit about how your journey began into the trading industry.
Okay, Dale, so it may sound odd, but I regard myself as a newbie in this business because
I hate that word.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
But it's true. It's true. I'm only 8 years in the trading business.
All right.
And I got involved purely accidentally. I had a very good friend, and he's, believe it or not, an artist. He's a painter and sculptor. And once I paid him a visit because he had an exhibition in a couple of days, I saw him in front of a screen with some very, very odd charts in front of him, because at that time I had no idea what he is looking at. And it was, in fact, some charts of foreign exchange currencies. And he was trading, and he told me, just give me a minute and sit down and watch. And I watched him making $150 in 5 minutes. So I'm done. Okay, so we can go further. And I asked him, no, just give me a minute. So I saw something, and you need to explain me what you did. And in a few words, he explained me the foreign exchange, how he's trading, opening an account. You need to search for a good broker, etc., etc. And it was very interesting because at that time I was, I still am, but my day job was as a software developer, so nothing to do with trading.
Right. Okay.
And it was a stressful job, you know. When I started working as a software developer, it was very challenging. It was very interesting, but as the time passes by, I got tired in learning every 6 months new stuff, because you know that technology is advancing so fast.
Ever changing.
Exactly.
Like the markets.
Yeah,
in a way. Yeah.
In a way. But this is something, you have new technologies emerging every 6 months, let's say a year, and you have to start from scratch.
That would burn me out too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And at some point, you get tired of learning and keeping up with the technology, because that's your job. And the time frames for projects were shorter, more requests, the salary stayed the same, and I saw an opportunity by trading, having the freedom to work when I want, how much I want, and even make much, much more than my monthly salary, with less time wasted on working. So that was my general idea, and that was the main thing. So money was the driver, not some passion or anything else. Money, the
Right.
freedom, doing what you want,
Yeah.
how you want, and when you want.
Yeah. So it wasn't just the money. It was the independence of being able to live life and not just be, like a guy who worked in a factory, got up every morning, did the same thing for 40 years, and
Yeah.
then he retired and died. So
Yeah.
so you got out of the grind. Did you have any early on? I was fortunate. I was able to learn a lot of things on the floor. It existed back then. Open Outcry. The internet is so filled with a lot of, excuse my French, crap. People guaranteeing they know the secret and send me this amount and 1,000% returns and all of that. Did you get lucky and meet some good people that helped you along the way, and some bad people that hurt you?
Well, I would say both, but let's
Okay.
say more good people than bad people.
Great.
Anyway, when I started out, like what kind of person I am a very analytical person, and that's why my day job was as a software developer. And that approach led me to investigate everything before drawing any conclusions. So what I did was, in fact, information gathering wherever I could, from friends, mainly internet, books, just to get into the subject, into the matter, to understand how the markets work and how can I prosper by trading the markets. So just getting in, not knowing what you're doing is a recipe for disaster and losing all your money. And I was aware of that.
Did you ever
Yep.
blow up an account?
No, not one. I had some
Fantastic.
big drawdowns, but never blew my account.
Okay.
Because, when you get down, but pretty much down, let's say some 60, 70%, then you step back, you take a break, you think about what you did. Why did this happen? What did I wrong? And that is that analytical approach. Like you're writing a code and you're testing the code and it doesn't work the way it should. You need to find the errors. So if it is a syntax error, it will be pointed out by your editor. But if it is, let's say, an algorithmic error, so you have used a wrong variable in some function, it's hard to find. So you need to analyze every single bit of code and find the error. That's what I did. And in fact, I was learning and testing paper trading mostly for years. And then when I realized that I know exactly what I'm doing and I know I can be profitable, then I started putting real money online.
Okay. So how many years did you paper trade or demo trade?
Well, to be honest, let's say some 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that most people do not have the patience to do that. I also want to ask you, with your former background, and what's becoming very popular nowadays are EAs and robots and algos. And with your coding background, are you ever tempted to, or have you already used that skill for assisting you in the markets?
Yes, I have, naturally. The thing I'm working on is an artificial intelligence system which will evaluate all the data. So let's say big data evaluation under certain criteria. And after this evaluation, I'm building a decision support system. It's in fact something that will tell you what to do. And the next step after this decision support system is a fully automated system, which will learn and do, let's say, doing by learning. So everything that has happened in the past and every new event that is different than all the events in the past, it takes into account and then makes the decision what to do. But let's be honest, I'm far away from having some system that will work that way, because we are fighting against each other. There are not algorithms on the other side we are fighting against. Those algorithms are written by humans. So it's not some alien technology we are fighting against on the other side of our trades. Those are humans that have written algorithms. And if I write my algorithms, it's human versus human or algo versus algo. It's the same thing.
Okay. All right.
So
interesting.
I think we are far away from this having some holy grail of trade. You can have a system that is more profitable. So let's say it makes more money than it loses. You can have it. But to make a very, very profitable system without any human intervention, so working on its own, we are far away from this.
Okay, Stan. So
that's my honest opinion.
Okay, so we're looking at the Dixie here, and I'm looking at the setup, and you have the ascending triangle line there with the breakout at 97.80. We've been on both sides of it, closing in on the lower end of the range. What do you have at the bottom? Is that a MACD? What's the green and red down there at the bottom?
No, that's the Elliott wave oscillator.
Oh, it's an Elliott wave oscillator. Okay. Yes. Tell us about that and how you use it.
Well, I mainly use Elliott wave oscillator to distinguish between the waves of the Elliott wave theory. Okay. But in fact, you can use it as a standalone because it works pretty much like the relative strength index, a MACD. It gives you the divergence between oscillator value and the price action. And that's mainly the main thing I'm looking at when I'm looking at the Elliott wave oscillator. Besides that, this oscillator is showing me the tops and bottoms of waves because I use Elliott waves as my fundamental analysis when I am analyzing any instrument.
Okay. So what's your count where we're at in the dollar here? And well, if you use Elliott wave, you probably have an alternate too, right?
Yes. I always have two counts. Okay. One that is obvious, and the other one that could be, in fact, if the first one gets invalidated. So in this particular case, I have started the Elliott wave sequence from the bottom because I'm not interested in what happened before. This was the impulse wave going up, and it should have ended right here on the count. And we had a triple top.
Yeah.
So this could be an irregular ABC correction for a down move so far, since we have seen something that is very, very interesting, and this is this fake breakout.
Yeah.
Why this is a fake breakout? Because the price did test the breakout but went below. And if you have a real breakout, momentum breakout after a triple top, it should have gone much, much higher and continue go higher. But it didn't. So this might be a fake one. And what I'm looking at, this first support has held. Now we are breaking down. This wick was a fat rejection. This is another support, and we are slightly breaking the support. But I believe that the 55 EMA will hold the price for, let's say, a couple of days, maybe for the weekend, because it is very uncertain what will happen next week.
Right.
And if we
so you have a 55 as a red. What's a blue one?
89.
How did you come up with those two, and why? I mean, they're pretty close to each other. Usually people have, a short-term, medium-term, and long-term moving average. You look for, I don't see one cross on this all the way up. So how are you using these moving averages, and why did you select those that number of days?
Firstly, the 55 and 89, both of them are numbers from the Fibonacci array.
Okay.
Okay.
Valid, so
The second thing I'm looking at, this 55 and 89, both of them are very, very important. Mark me if I am in bullish territory or bearish territory. So if the price is above, this is bullish, I'm looking to go long. If it's below, I'm looking to go short. And most importantly, many times, the 55 and the 89, we will see, depending on the instrument we are trading, could be both of them or either one of them, will represent a support or resistance. In fact, if you look at the Dixie, this was support, 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 broken, some small support right here for a bounce, broken, resistance, went above. So this is the playing around. I would say that the 55 and 89 represent, in my view, a fair price. Everything that goes far away from those is either overbought or oversold. And in many cases, the 55 and or 89 provide some decent
They're kind of
support.
like a mean for you.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
And you get mean reversions where it'll go above it or below it and come back to it.
Exactly.
Or hold it. Okay. Cool, Stan.
So my view on the Dixie is, and depending on Dixie, the euro dollar will act, is that we will find some support right here because it was earlier a support. You can see in this structure right here, this was support. We have support right here in this structure. So it could provide some support, and then we will see if we bounce off the 55, we will continue higher. If we break, the next one will be the 89. Then we are looking for this particular support trend line and then much, much lower. So since this is far away, could be a couple of days seeing this resolve around these moving averages and this trend line, then I will be interested in analyzing further to see how much downside or maybe upside we are on.
Okay, great look. So
let me show you something else which is very interesting. So we see that we are looking at the daily. We are seeing the Dixie coming into the 55 from above. If we look at the euro dollar, we can see that the euro dollar, let me just make it bigger, is coming from below into the 55.
Right.
So it's the same thing.
Yeah.
If the Dixie breaks the 55, the euro dollar will break this 55. But my view on the euro dollar is bearish still until 110. That's my target on the short.
Okay, so you'd be a seller here, looking for 110.
Yes.
And how are you managing risk with the 89-day moving average? If it closes above it, you would liquidate your short?
No. My stop loss on any trade depends on the price action, so the wicks. Okay.
Yeah.
So if we have this wicks, so this is a fat rejection of the 55. You can see clearly it tried to break, it didn't close above. This was the recent support. The break of this support is my entry. This is my stop right above.
Okay, so you're in BE now, and you're in small profits now anyway from where you did it. So do you take partials, Stan, or how do you know? This is something I've been asking a lot of people lately. You know, it's not easy to do to make a great trade, to make a great forecast, but the toughest thing to do is to have a great hold.
Yes.
Because especially if you look at shorter term stuff, you always think, well, I could just book it here and then put it back out there, and then you turn your head and the market gets away from you and you earn the tough money like the first 30, 40 pips, and it could have been windfalls if you had the discipline to walk away and manage it that way. How do you turn a good trade into a good hold?
Well, it depends when I enter. If I am early in a trade, and I tend to look for early entries. Why? Because on the early entry, you have the least amount of risk. However, if you miss, or let's say I missed the early entry, let me give you an example. Let's say we are taking a short right here, and I missed this one. I'm looking for this wick. This is a support. This is a big bearish candle. We have a pullback. After the pullback, right into the median of this descending channel. So this break right here, the new bearish break, would be an entry. This would be a stop. In holding a position, I never hold one position, my starting one, never. I add on the way down. I have my targets. I never open a position in the markets without knowing before where my stop is, so I can calculate my risk, and therefore I can calculate my risk to reward. I need to have a target. It could be a shallow target, small target, could be a big one.
Do you have a rule, like a lot of people look for 3 to 1 or they don't take it?
Yes, I would say less than 2 to 1 is not a trade. 3 to 1, 5 to 1, 7 to 1. I entered the trade with 12 to 1 risk to reward. It was awesome. Why? Because if a trade fails, and let's say we have another loser, and we have another loser in a row, so 3 in a row, the fourth, if I take the fourth trade and the fourth trade is a winner, I have good chances to get out break even, or maybe even with a small profit. It depends on your risk to reward, and that's the main thing. The later you get in, the more the risk you have. because you can't possibly know when the price will turn.
Okay. Were there any other instruments besides euro and dollar that is on your radar that you'd like to share or discuss with us?
This one is very interesting, the US dollar versus Norwegian krona. This is an instrument I trade very, very often because it gives good profits, less risk. I know how it behaves. Since the Norwegian krona is very tied up to the price of oil, and the Norwegian OBX index, 26% of the index is.
Yeah, one of my partners loves to trade it too. Stelios loves to trade USD NOK. So your reason is it's a great technical market, and
yes,
it's a great proxy for oil.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
And if you follow the price of oil, I'm not an oil trader. I have traded oil maybe, let's say, 3 times in my whole career. I won 1, I lost 2, figured out this is not the type of instrument for me. It doesn't fit me. So I'm not trading oil, but I'm observing oil, what it does regarding the price action. So I know when I look at oil and the dollar index, what am I going to do with the dollar krona? So now we have, for, let's say, some foreseeable time, that the price is in a range. This is the daily. On the weekly chart, I don't have it on this one. I can draw it in. Just bear with me. The weekly. What we have, in fact, on the weekly chart is a channel. And this is the weekly channel, a descending channel, this one. And we have a triple top on the channel and on the range. So this might be very, very important. If we break out, then this is a breakout of a very, very long consolidation since we came in from 568. Yeah, it was 2013. So let's say we started rising mid 2015. We got in, so we are high, and if we break higher, I don't know where the limit is. But my view is that this will go down rather than up. We could have a fake break. But looking short term, we will be looking for a short trade from these tops right back into the support and the 55 again. You can see clearly how important these 2 moving averages are, because we have them as support right here, very, very important, even on the weekly. So these 2 moving averages work on any time frame, and I use them even on a 1-minute time frame.
Okay.
This is very interesting. New Zealand dollar. This was this morning I discovered something, and this is very, very important. So we had a bullish Gartley on the daily, taking from these lows from 0.64 back down here, and this coincides with an Elliott wave bearish sequence completing at this level. And most importantly, we have a fat rejection, this long wick. It happened here, and it happened right here. What happened afterwards was a bullish rally. In both cases, so I don't think it will not happen for the 3rd time. So regarding the harmonic, we are looking for this target. So technically, this would be a target for this particular setup and this big fat rejection. Gold.
Wow, you use everything. Harmonics.
Everything.
Yeah.
No, not everything.
Well, I mean a lot of things. Okay.
Not a lot of things. There are maybe 4 or 5 things I'm using as my tools.
Well, you know, to me it's a lot because I'm a one-trick pony. 3 drives and RSI. So go ahead, Stan.
It took me 3 years to develop the method I'm using ever since. And I'm using it for, let's say, 2.5 years. And this method has been proven to be very, very profitable with so small losses, if any. And that is the right combination of different strategies. So every strategy by itself has good and bad sides, so flaws and very profitable sides. But if you combine them in the right way, so if you take all the necessary ingredients, then you have a very good recipe. And I think I have found this one, and it works for me. And there is not a lot of things. I use harmonics because I was a harmonic trader for years. Elliott waves are my fundamental. I use to determine where the price action is at the moment. So I know what to expect. am I going to look for longs or for shorts? Or
So
maybe
Elliot, for your biases.
yeah, exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And you know, you don't have only one view regarding Elliott waves. You need to have an alternative. And my alternative in this particular case, this is gold, could be that we are looking for a rejection again at the 89. You can see this clearly. The price couldn't break above the 89. It is trying again for God knows what time. It could break down, and this wave 5 or the C or the low 2 of the wave 2 could be even lower. Could be. But for this moment in time, we have a double bottom. We have a multi-top that could be broken, and this could break this resistance trend line and going into the wave 3, which is much, much higher above 1360. So that's my view. And this is very, very similar to silver. We have, I believe, that we have the low of the wave 2. We are still in this wedge. This was a fake break, and I would expect it to break higher rather than lower.
Are your MAs? I'm getting a couple of questions.
Yes.
From the attendees. Russell wants to know if the MA is simple or exponential.
Well, the difference between simple and exponential is just the way it is calculated. So you can use the simple and exponential. I tend to use exponential ones because they are much smoother than the simple. But it's the same thing. It's the same thing.
And if you don't mind, someone is interested in where you are from.
It's a small country on the Balkans called Serbia, former Yugoslavia.
Okay. So how old are you? Ballpark.
50.
Okay. So you went through some hell in your 20s, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I did.
Okay, man. I'm so glad you came through it.
Yeah, I fought in 2 wars, not willingly. I had to. Otherwise, I would have been court-martialed. And yes, I would say it was a hard time.
I'm so glad that trading must seem like a walk in the park, okay? Because you told me about your early background and the pressure of, being a software coder developer.
Yep.
And that must have been a walk in the park compared to the experiences that you have to go through as a young man. And you're a warrior in all ways, Stan. And I'm so glad that we got to ask you that question. And you're an inspiration to people that have been through hard times and kept swinging the bat and found a place where they could be happy and always fascinated and interested in what they're doing every day. And I know our whole community is glad for you because you came here and you edified us. So like it or not, buddy, you're my trading warrior brother now.
Thank you, Dale. Thank you, Dale. Thank you very much.
So, I also see you don't have an axe to grind. What are you doing on social media? You just like to exchange ideas with people, and or do you teach? Do you mentor people? You would be a natural one from your presentation. Do you do any of that?
Yes, I do. And I started 2 years ago. And the main driver for this was, as you know, you are much more experienced than I am. I am a newbie comparing to you, Dale. This is a lonely business. You are alone with the screens in front of you.
I'm lonely. I'm Mr. Lonely. Go ahead, man. All right.
You have no people around to share your pain and joy as well. So what I decided to do is, in fact, since I developed this method, which is a very good one, I've tested it myself many times with my real money. I decided to gather a small group of people, explain them my method, and to form a small group, very small group of people who I work with. So it's not the kind of room with hundreds of people and they are paying some subscription.
You have a family. You have a trading family.
Yes. Yeah, sort of a family. Yes.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
And we are exchanging ideas, thoughts, not only trading related, but from life.
Yeah.
Anything that comes across, we are discussing about. I don't know. The other day,
What
a
is
lady wanted to buy
you
a.
guys discuss whether or not our president's hair is really orange?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
Everything.
All right.
It's like a family, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big believer in that, and so I guess the best way for people to reach you, Stan, is through your Twitter handle. You want to
Yes.
give people that, or maybe an email? And what does VDI Insta, your logo that flashes up on the screen? What do those words mean? Your logo, with that gold logo, flashes up every once in a
Yeah.
while. Yeah. What's it mean?
That's the. I have to tell you in short words the story behind this logo. So the artist I was telling you who brought me into this game of trading had an idea, in fact, to make the biggest forex. I don't know, event, let's say, on the Balkans and hosted in Belgrade. I was some years ago,
Yeah.
and he asked me to develop a website along with an application that will back up all the event. And I started making some logo for that system, in fact, and the name was F.A.C.E Imperia. That means
Okay.
in my language empire. Yeah.
Okay.
And since everything went down the drain, they didn't host any event, nothing. That logo was somewhere in my drawer, and then I took it out and said, okay, so this looks nice. I can use it for myself.
Show it.
It's
Show
not
it on the screen.
copyrighted.
Show it.
Oh, Jesus, I have to find this. Oh,
No, it kept popping up, so it's got to be right there. And I'm interested in what the translation of the words.
You can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah,
this
right.
one.
Yeah, what do the words mean underneath it?
I saw, I traded, I prospered.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it's 3. I'm a big believer in 3. Okay.
Yes.
So that's
It's
a
one of
complete,
the Tesla numbers.
you're all, yeah, it's almost like I talked to the Emperor of Serbia. I interviewed an emperor in Serbia today, Face. So
yeah.
Stan,
Yeah.
I had a great time. I hope you enjoyed hanging out with us for a half an hour. And
Yes, I had.
yeah, why don't you just give everyone follow this guy. Everyone who's here, follow Stan, because I went down your stream before I interviewed you, and you've made some good calls in many different markets, and you show charts, and Stan's a great follow. So why don't you put out your Twitter handle for people, show it on the screen, so when people watch the video, they could find it too. And you're getting some thank yous from Russell and Elena and Jacques and Joshua. So thank you so much for being with us, buddy.
Thank you, Dale, for inviting me, and I really had a good time talking to you.
Okay, and may pips rain down on you, partner, enough to
Thank
fill
you.
up every water barrel you have outside your house.
Thank you, likewise.
All right, buddy. Everyone, that's Stan, and you can find him on Twitter. I have his handle here. Let me go to it, and I'll give it to you. So you go to at FXIMPERIJ, like John A, at FX Imperija. Okay?
Yeah.
All right, Stan. Have a great weekend, buddy. Good
hunting. You too. Have a blast, Dale.
Keep in touch, all right, man?
I will.
All right, Stan. All right, everyone. That's a wrap. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. And we'll see everyone Monday. Have a great weekend. Adios. To all my trading warrior brothers and sisters, enjoy. Smell the roses. It's spring. Adios.